Alright, boys, it's with great disappointment that I must inform you. Unfortunately, Bitcoin is continuing to go down. But it's not just Bitcoin that's down right now. At the time of recording, X is also down, so it's making it kind of hard to figure out why crypto is down. But it's not all bad news, and Bitcoin looks like it might be reaching a floor here. So if you want a healthy dose of hopium, stick around and let's get started. At the time of recording, Bitcoin is trading under $80,000 at about $79,000, and it has refilled this wick, breaking below the 200-day moving average. Like I was saying, if it started closing candles below the 200-day moving average, that's when I would start to get nervous. But I did say that we could be coming down here to find some support at a previous level of resistance, since we didn't actually do that during this previous pump. A lot of times, whenever we do see a swing high, we're going to have to come back and retest it as a swing low before turning it into support and going back to the upside. If we don't do that, the problem is exactly what we're seeing right now. Whenever we broke down below this trading range between about $104,000 or so and then $90,000, there just wasn't very much support underneath us, and right now there's nothing to look forward to really until we do get down here at about $74,000. In my opinion, that's really the worst case scenario if this bull market is to remain intact, but we might not have to make it all the way down there because, like I was also saying in a previous video, we could come down to fully fill out this previous CME gap, which could bring us down to about $77,000. And coincidentally, that would probably see us bouncing off of this 200-day moving average for the CME chart, which is an indication that the bull market is still intact. And we just put a gap right here above us yesterday, so that means that we're probably going to come up and fill that one as well once we actually get done filling this one from back in November. As you can see, though, it doesn't mean that we're going to be filling this gap here in the next week or anything. It could take several months or even a year or anything like that. And if we do start breaking down and closing below this 200-day moving average on the CME chart, then technically that is going to be a bear market, but it might not be as severe as a lot of people would be expecting because we do have a lot of support down here around the $60,000 range. Plus, that was the top of the last bull market, and usually we don't dip down very low below the previous high, and we actually only did for the very first time in the last bear market. Plus, if we go over here and look at Capriola Investments at their Bitcoin production cost chart, you can see maybe that the electrical cost is right under $60,000 at about $57,000. And that usually does act like the floor in a bear market, but in a bull market, a lot of times we do bounce off of the production cost, which currently is about at $80,000, meaning that this could act as a floor if this bull market still is intact. If we start breaking down and closing below that 200-day moving average on the CME chart, though, then I definitely think we could come back down here and bounce off of the electrical cost. But honestly, we're more than halfway there already. So any dips down to this level is going to be the ultimate buying opportunity, in my opinion, because every time we've bounced off of that electrical cost in the past, that was the bottom of the bear market. And if we make it down there again, then I don't know, I might sell a kidney or something, because now that Bitcoin is being adopted with a strategic reserve officially being announced by the White House, Donald Trump might actually be right, and we might be entering a golden age for America and for crypto. And it would be smart for Donald Trump to let us see a short-term recession here in the beginning of his term, because we have the midterms coming up, and really we just need to get this short-term pain out of the way so that the markets can start to recover and the Republicans don't end up losing in the midterms, basically nerfing Donald Trump's presidency and the things that he can get done. Basically, I think that's what we're going through right now, is that little bit of short-term pain, but I don't know how long it's going to last or how far it's going to send us down. And honestly, with the government adopting cryptocurrency technology and trying to make America the crypto capital of the world, it seems like we should have a bunch of tailwinds sending us to the upside. And I think those tailwinds could be kicking in pretty soon because, as you can see, the M2 money supply here, indicated by the blue line, has started to go back to the upside. And usually whenever this M2 money supply has a swing low or a swing high, Bitcoin also has a swing low or a swing high correlating with the M2 supply. It's just delayed by about 3 months. As you can see back here in September of 2022, the M2 money supply did have a swing low, but Bitcoin still had a little bit more downward pressure to go all the way until about November 21st. And it too also found a bottom before ultimately kicking off this bull market. And we could be seeing the same sort of thing repeating right here because as you can see back in September of 2024, the M2 money supply actually peaked. And then we started to see Bitcoin peak 3 months later in December. But now, since the M2 money supply is starting to go back up, it looks like Bitcoin is still lagging just a little bit. But M2 did bottom back in December. And now, since we've had about 3 months pass since then, maybe we're going to see Bitcoin putting in a bottom and continuing its rally right alongside the M2 money supply. Like I said, the crypto summit and the announcement of the official Bitcoin strategic reserve was probably going to be a little bit of a selling news event. We've seen that come to fruition, but really, Bitcoin and crypto is ultimately a macro game. And now that the macro money supply is actually starting to go back to the upside, I think it's only a matter of time until Bitcoin follows suit. And with us filling this gap and getting really close to this 200-day moving average, it looks like it's basically got to see a bounce here, hopefully really soon, or else ultimately this might end up being the bear market. So hopefully we're going to be seeing that bounce here at the bottom of this gap and the 200-day moving average and this previous level of resistance turning it into support. All of these are really great indications, and with those tailwinds of the strategic reserve and other countries and states trying to follow suit and not get left behind. For example, the Texas Senate has just passed the Bitcoin Reserve Bill, and Texas plans to buy up to $500 million in Bitcoin every year. Texas is the second biggest economy right behind California, and we're quickly closing that gap. So, with states like Texas and the whole United States of America leading the way and making their own Bitcoin strategic reserves, I think we're going to see other states and countries following suit and jumping on the bandwagon. And pretty soon, there's going to be a mad dash to run and scoop up all of the Bitcoin that they can. And this is going to cause a supply crunch like we've never seen before. Also, it's going to take a little bit of time for pro crypto legislation to actually get passed through the House and the Senate and then be signed by the president. And all of those things are just now starting to be put into motion. So, here in a few months, I think we're going to be ripping again. Ultimately, I don't think this is the end of the bull market, and us coming down to bounce off of this 200-day moving average has historically just been a really great buying opportunity. And in my opinion, that's probably what this is again. So if you missed out on the first part of the bull market, then this might be your last chance because after this, we could start going parabolic, and you don't want to be stuck on the sidelines trying to chase green candles. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this the end of the bull market and are we going to be breaking down below that 200-day moving average? Or do you think that the tailwinds are about to kick in and we're going to be taking off, being pushed back into the air, and it's just going to be smooth sailing from here? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But most importantly, don't forget to do only good every day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.